All right, guys, I have a pretty cool episode for you. I updated a lot of stuff with Autothresh Web, so I want to make a video going over everything. This is like a full step-by-step guide on how to use Autothresh Web. Let's go ahead and add a test design and we'll go right into it. So we'll start with threshold mode. Now, threshold mode is going to work exactly like the plugin. You're going to have your layers on the left-hand side, and if you click the eye icon, you can basically hide each layer, and you can actually duplicate the layers too. So let's say we wanted to add another, I don't know, let's say we want to add another specular layer. We could duplicate it and change that color to, let's say, yellow, and now we have a specular layer there. And we can actually play with the ranges so they don't clash, if you will. So technically we can actually make this top layer white, and we can make this bottom layer, let's say, more of a yellow. So you can add more tones in between the tones that are already there, essentially. And if you wanted to, you can, also just delete it. And that's what separates it from the Photoshop plugin, the fact that you have 8 instead of 4 colors to start with. And then obviously we have the white underbase. Now, the cool thing about the white underbase is you can solo it now, so you can see what it looks like. So you can actually unchoke it, and then we can choke it. One other cool thing that I just added is when you solo a layer, you can actually mask that layer that you're soloing. So if you go down to the bottom, you're going to see a mask button. You click that and you can start masking anything you want. And the cool thing is the masks all work with the knockouts and the exports. So when you export your PNG layers, you're going to see the mask reflected on that specific layer that you added the mask to, if that makes sense. So we can also restore it. If you don't like the change that you made, you can restore it, or you could just click clear all, which will clear any mask that you've had. Background color largely stayed the same, but I did kind of simplify it, and we still have fabric view. I retitled that because it was kind of, confusing before. I think it said realistic view. Background color largely stayed the same, but I did simplify it a little bit. So now if you click fabric view, it will show this little menu that pops up. You could choose what fabric color you want to view your artwork on, just like that. Everything else stayed the same. Mockup, presets, and all that good stuff stayed the same. We do have a new tutorial section, which I'm going to add this video to. So if you guys are logged into Autothresh in your dashboard, you should see this video. Hopefully that's where you're watching it. But yeah, so that fabric view stayed the same. Now on the right side, global pattern also stayed the same. Everything, is exactly how you'd expect it to be. Distress texture is on the top now, because I found that most people are going to be using it pretty often. So I wanted it to be very, at the very top, easy to see and find. And then image adjustments has also been changed. I made levels the default. You can still switch from levels, curves, and basic. So that's pretty cool. Now let's go to the left side one more time. And if you click on any layer, you're going to see that there's a pattern button. This is where you can actually change the pattern per layer, per color. So if you click it, you can actually change whatever pattern you want for that specific layer, and you can really get some cool looks here. So maybe you want a halftone pattern for this specific color, you can now do that. The problem right now is it's not working perfectly, and I need to work on it. So just so you guys know, that is a work in progress, but it's there. You can start playing with it right now. So that's threshold mode in a nutshell. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to use. Now we're gonna switch from threshold to dither mode now. This is really cool. It's gonna act like a normal dither pattern that you're used to seeing. Just like the threshold mode, you can change the pattern to whatever you want. So we have the Floyd, we have all the other ones too. I'm not gonna list them all because you guys can read right there, but there's a lot of them. So we can mess with these, and they're pretty cool. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dithering isn't my favorite look, but I do know that it's popular and a lot of people like it. So I've added it because I felt like, why not, And just like threshold mode, you can still solo all the layers and mask them just like that. And we have these color presets, and I think that's really helpful. We can still add the distressed texture just like before, although it's found on the left-hand side now. Maybe that's something for the future that I can mess with, but you can see it looks really good. And we still have the fabric view as well. If you want to preview your dithering look on a fabric background, you can still do that. You can still export all of your different layers, just like threshold. So now let's go to color separation. Now color separation is a very unique mode. It's not using tonal ranges anymore. It's actually using color to do the color separation. Taking the original colors from the original design, and it's color picking them essentially with this algorithm, and it's separating those into different color layers, if that makes sense. So the cool thing is, since this works differently, we're allowed to go up to 30 colors, which is honestly freaking crazy. But yeah, you can choose a lot more colors. On the priority section, we're actually prioritizing tonal ranges, balance or color. So if you want to keep more of the original color of the original artwork, you choose color and that will do that. I'm actually going to change that section slightly, but as you can see, we're using the exact same colors as the original art, which is kind of cool. And again, this is all color separated. So you can export these as PNGs, which is going to be insane to print. You're going to be looking at a lot of money there. And then if you go on the right-hand side, we have the background still, and then we have color separation, and then we still have the patterns as well. So if you want, you can go, diamond on the halftone. Let's scale this up quite a bit, change the scale. There we go. And again, I'm still working on a lot of these algorithms, but they're working pretty good for the most part. A lot of the decisions I make are also guided by you guys, the audience that are using my plugins. So thank you guys so much. Without you, I wouldn't be able to even get as far as I am now. So thank you. Now, we still can use registration marks on all these modes. And if we want to, we can change the mark offset just like that. We can add some bleed. Now, when you set up your screens for screen printing, you're going to have that nice, cushion, if you will, for the registration marks. But yeah, there's color separation. Now we're going to go to CMYK Pro. Now this one is actually a huge work in progress, but what I did do is I added a background removal option here. So if I click background removal on the very bottom, and that's another thing, we moved the background removal to the taskbar now because it's much easier to find that way. And I found that a lot of people on tablet and mobile were having issues accessing it. So now you can actually access the remove background on the footer of the website here. So let's go ahead and turn it on. And as you can see, it's already cut out of the background and we can change the tolerance. So now you have a CMYK step with the background. On the preview mode, let's change it from raw to inspect. And you can see we have the CMYK steps right there. Again, CMYK mode is definitely a work in progress, but it's working pretty good. And then let's go to DTG, DTF mode. This mode took me so long to get right. It was not right at first. And I had to go through so many hoops to get this to look good, but now it actually looks good and it's knocking out the background properly. So what it's doing is it's essentially removing the darkest parts of the image and it's using halftones, right? So when you go to print this, it's going to look like it has a gradient, but it's really faking it with halftones. So there's no pixels that are under 100% opacity. So now if you print this on a dark shirt, the fabric is now going to become the black of the design, the darkest parts. Now, if you do the same thing for a white, the whites will get knocked out. So it's the opposite. So anyway, it works really good now. And again, this took so long to get right, but I am so happy to see that it works. And I know some people use DTF printing. So, because I mean, DTG is cool, but DTF is honestly kind of where it's at because a lot of people at home can't afford a DTG setup. It's expensive, but you can afford to buy DTF sheets, right? If we go to the right now, go to export, there's going to be a section for building a sheet. And now you can build I think it's called a gang sheet. And this will actually print properly for the DTF sheets. So you can print it directly at home if you have a proper DTF printer. If not, you can send these into like Ninja Prints or something, not sponsored by them, by the way, but you can send it into them to print it for you. So this is all ready to go. All of the screen printers, DTG and DTF printers that are writing me every day, thank you so much. Because again, without you guys, we don't have a cool website like Autothresh Web. Thank you guys so much. If you want to sign up to Autothresh Web, you can do that at autothresh.com, or you can go to charliepangus.com and sign up.